Hey YouTube, what's up? Coming at you with another video. I'm not even going to try and claim that this might end up being quick. We'll see how quick I can make this. But this one here, it's going to be a little bit of a rant. It's not really going to be a rant. It's just in that vein. Expositive narrative or whatever you want to call it. Long story short, I freaking hate skip socket sets. There is a reason that on my chromes here that I have all of the Quinn Master socket sets. And I have both the metric and standard because I need both metric and standard. It's what I've worked with and what I've worked on. And it's what I'm going to continue to work with and work on. I'm not a flat rate tech at a dealer. I'm not even really technically any kind of professional mechanic at the exact moment, but between heavy equipment and small engines, we use both in a lot of different drive sizes and cover a pretty wide range. So there's layers to it. Now, it came out pretty strong. Why do I hate skip socket sets? Well, same reason I hate incomplete socket sets. There's a reason that I have a natural preference towards the Quinn Master sets from Harbor Freight. One, because I'm incredibly value-minded and frankly not made of money, and I don't know how many of us out here watching this video are either. But Quinn, Tekton, these are brands that have committed to providing as complete a set as a consumer can buy. And that means a lot to me. Not because I necessarily think that I'm going to have daily use of, I'm sure there's going to be somebody that says, oh, I use this every single day. 26 millimeter socket. It's, I don't frankly know if it's ever been on a fastener. That's fine. Why? Because I can. I don't have to worry about it. It's already thought out. I don't have to think, oh shoot, does my set have a 14 millimeter or not? No, I know that if it is between 10 and, well, technically on these half inches it goes a lot bigger. It goes all the way up to the 32. But anything between 10 and 32, I don't have to worry about it. It's there. That is a mental load I don't have to think. I don't have to think of how I'm going to work around that particular obstacle. I'm going to have enough obstacles, enough complications, enough variables to deal with as it is. I don't have to think about it. Similarly, what I seek to do in this kit is broad capacity. Professionally, I've always been a Swiss Army knife. It's the way that I was raised. That was the way that all the men in my family operated. We weren't specialists. We weren't sitting here becoming the world's foremost expert in one niche topic. We were doing mechanical repairs the same time that we were doing framing and concrete and painting and electrical, everything. Trying to get in there and have the broadest range of capacity to, at least in the mechanic situation, try and have the right tool for the right job as much as humanly possible, but still understanding that there's limitations there. I'm digressing and hedging myself quite a bit on this, but I think you get the picture. That incompleteness carries a mental load with it. It carries a waste and inefficiency with it for having to do that. Say I've got my 3/8 set with me, and instead of going all the way up to 24, which is something that I have used quite a bit on Kubota, say it's like this impact socket set. I brought the impact socket set over with me, but in my 3/8 drive with my 3/8 stubby, I can only get to 22. Well, shoot, that's a problem. That's another trip back to the box. That's another drive size. That's another tool. I'm either grabbing an adapter and going up to 1/2 inch to run my 3/8 gun, or I'm grabbing the 1/2-inch gun itself, having something different, grabbing another tool. Either way, I'm coming back to a box. Or that's if that's even an option. If you're in an environment where if you don't have the tools that you brought with you in that system, you're SOL or trying to figure out a different way to MacGyver the situation now. And that's inefficient. Making do, as fun as it may be, as enjoyable as having that problem-solving experience and creating a novel solution to handle this particular novel challenge, it's not efficient. You're not beating flat rate when you're figuring stuff out while you're doing it, typically. So that's really the gist of it. But if I hate skip sets so much, why do I still have some? Why do I still run some? Well, that's what I've got. I've already made an investment in these. Not much of them. These are actually as cheap of an impact socket set as I could physically buy. When I was first starting out at the first job that required me to have my own box, I realized how woefully unprepared I was. And I was in the unique position of having just bought a house and a truck the same month. It was a rough month. My season was ending. I was going into my winter season, which is already typically leaner times. I had just bought a house and lost fourth gear in the transmission on my Trailblazer, so I had to buy a truck. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, shoot, I just spent all of my cash to be able to afford this down payment, to be able to buy this house. My credit score is going to plummet in a month's time when all of that new debt I just incurred hit. And I need tools to be able to continue making these payments that I just signed up for the rest of my God-given life. We had to make some decisions, had to make some concessions. I made some concessions on quality, quantity, and really just trying to get what will do, and that's what I've got. And now that I'm not in that position anymore, why haven't I upgraded? Well, because right now it's still serving in that capacity. I haven't broken a single one of them. I have, on some of these sockets, again, all of them haven't seen quite the same use, but I have really, this 19, I have put through the ringer, and it hardly is the worse for wear for show. But it's adequate. It's not my priority right now. There's other gaps in my system that I feel are more important to fill. And we're starting to get into way off into the weeds on different philosophies of acquisition and when to upgrade and when not to. And I can probably get a lot deeper into that. That's ultimately going to be a personal choice, something that you have to kind of decide for yourself and your situation, given all of your litany of variables that you're dealing with, because none of this happens in a vacuum. Nobody's buying a tool in a vacuum. We are all deeply affected by the context in and around our lives that have created this chain of events and decisions that leads to that moment. And then we carry the artifact of that moment. Some for longer than others. But again, I've rambled too long. Hopefully this one will be a little bit quicker. But if you like what you see, like, subscribe, do what you got to do. Either way, I'll see you all in the next one.